Hey guys, what's up? It's Darkmech here and welcome back to another video. Today I'm covering off Tol Dagor in the Season 4 Mythic Plus guide for tanks moving into that 10 plus affix. Awakened, what to do with your Obelisks, what kind of dungeon pathing you can take. The idea behind these, if you haven't seen one before, is not a full dungeon overview as such. It is just based around trying to give newer tanks into the plus 10 range some confidence in regards to what they are doing route wise and where they are going to take their obelisks. Most of the time when you're the tank, the group just kind of gives you free pilot on what you are going to do with the route, and some tanks are really unsure of that, so this video is hopefully going to help you out with that. So getting into this one, this was done last week, Fortified Bolstering Skittish. So bolstering changes the way that you play a dungeon pretty much all the time. So you'll be able to make slight adjustments to this based on, you know, whatever the affixes is. But basically on the beach, we're going to do the beach in 3 pools. Now, normally you would do the beach in 1 or 2 pools. However, because it's bolstering and there's some mobs that have varying health ranges and things like that on the beach, we're going to do it in 3 pools. So biggest thing here as the tank is you want to do your pull. What I do generally is I run around the side here and come up from the back. I just find it easier in regards to grouping up because you can grab these crabs, these vice jaws here. I was supposed to get that one and I missed it. And finally just landing with this pack of crabs here. Now the big thing is that you want to get immediate aggro, and then you pretty much just want to spend the time kiting around. The reason being is that you will get squeezed. Now you can see here I got rooted in place there. Now if you have a monk in the group, you can get tigers lusted out of that snare or that root. But the big thing is that you don't want to get pretty much rooted in place and just get absolutely chomped. The squeezes will really hurt. The vice jaws will be stacking a debuff on you that lowers your max health as well. So running away is absolutely like on point. So if you have abilities that have slows like the D&D with the 90% slow from DKs is amazing. Piercing Howl from a Fury Warrior is amazing. If you have like an Assass Rogue for a slow, anything you have for a slow is absolutely amazing on the beach as a tank. Even if you're a prot warrior running like a Major of Conflict and Strife or something like that for the beach, whatever you can do to slow the mobs and just kite them around is advisable. You can see there I dipped really low as they start to get bolstered with the squeeze damage. So I'm just going to kite them around in circles and kill that pack, and then I'm going to do another pull here where I'm going to get this vice jaw and these crabs here and these gators up here. And this vice jaw, sorry, so it's going to be 4 vice jaws and this crab. And then lastly, in the third bit of the pull, I'm going to do the parasites. Now, as I said, if it wasn't bolstering week, you can do this in 1 or 2 pulls, no worries. However, the parasites, they die really quickly and it would have just bolstered all of this, so it's just not worth it. So same principle again with them, trying to kite them around if you can avoid being hit. As a DK, if you've got the Fang Trinket from Temple and you're running Strength of the Warden, you can get enormous damage out of this. You can see just from popping your AoE taunt, you get a hell of a lot of threat from it, and then Fang is going to spread to every single target in there because it doesn't obey target capping like standard trinkets do, because it's not upfront damage, it's a dot. So that's really advisable. Another option is you could take Anima for this to get initial kind of threat off the bat. However, you're going to get more threat from Strength of the Warden generally than you are from Anima anyway. So yeah, get them down. Then we're going to pull the Parasites. Here are the Parasites. Kill the Parasites like normal, and then we're on to the first boss. Now, first boss, easy way to do as a tank is you can set up 3 markers. So I'm just going to pause this. Set up, say, a marker here, here, and here in the shape of a triangle. What you can do is you can have your whole group start on 1 marker. Soon as the sand traps drop, you can move over to the next marker. Stand here until the next sand trap drops, move up to the top one. And what you can do is you can just go around in a triangle. It just saves you moving the boss like everywhere in random positions. Now, you know, if you run with the same people over and over again, they're generally kind of going to know what you're going to do. But in a pug, it's really not a bad way to do it in regards to just keeping everything clumped up. So you can see there all the drones drop in one place from the sand traps. If I move over to the next location and everyone stacks over here, sand traps are going to come in 3 seconds again. They're going to drop here. We're going to get an upheaval first, I think. With the upheaval as well, guys, you can shadow meld it. If you're a warrior, you can heroic leap before it goes off and get out of the way with avoid being hit. Same as a demon hunter with infernal strike. I don't know what else you can do on other tanks. not really. Or you could Transcendence out of the way as a monk, but you can see here just going up to the top on the triangle, drones drop, and then I'm going to go back down. So I'm just making a triangle the entire time with this boss, and it just, again, positioning wise makes it really easy with this boss. So just getting that one down. We're going to kill these parasites that come out of the gutter here, or the sewer fucking pipe thing, and then we're going to take the first obelisk now. I haven't had any issues, but Ice was concerned that the obelisk here can actually bug out and go back to full health when you're taking it up. I have never seen that happen, so I usually drag this up into the sewers, but on this run, we just end up killing it here. Now again, with Void Weaver, 2 kicks and then there'll be a lull. You just need to watch out for the scarabs that'll explode, the big green circle. You don't want to be standing in that. You just need 1 kick for the crippling presence and then 1 kick for the lingering doubt, and then there'll be a gap. So just make sure you're kicking them. If something's going to go through, you know, obviously you just have to be able to manage for that. But yeah, it's fairly easy to manage the spider one. Just 2 kicks, drag it wherever you're going to drag it. Don't stand in the exploding green stuff from the scarabs, and that's it. So, as I said, I normally would have dragged this up into the actual dungeon itself. However, we're just killing it here, and that's fine. In this route, this absolutely works. And I would say this route would be fine for anything up to like a plus 21, 22. Outside of that though, this route is probably far less than ideal. So coming up, we're going to grab all the Vice Jaws in here. Now you can do this on every week as well, provided that you've just got the ability to kite. So again, slows, typhoons, vortexes, trees from boomies are really helpful and handy as well. You can see the Vice Jaw debuff here just stacking up. I've got 2 on me at the moment, so it's 10%. I've lost 10% of my max health, and you can see I'm starting to like chunk down here. So again, kite. Again, as I always say, I said again a lot then, didn't I? Don't feel like you always have to face tank things as the tank. You know, you don't have to do that. The idea of being able to kite is generally fast, like it's a far smarter tank that knows when to kite than when to run in there and get slapped in the face. That's what I'm trying to say. So then we're going to go and grab this thug, and we're going to drag this thug around to the top here where the 2 mobs are up the top. So I'm just running forward up the top here to where the striker and the arsonist are. They will run away, so when they get to low health, do think about using slows, stuns, grips if you've got them, shockwaves, leg sweeps. Anything to stop them from going and gathering other mobs, even if you need to bring them down the stairs. You know, on things like Sanguine, you'd want to position them down here anyway so you can move up forward once Sanguine drops. But just always be thinking about your placement and what's going on. Knowing what the mobs do in the dungeon is obviously vital as well in regards to knowing that they do run away and you wanting to not let them grab any other mobs. So once these are down, we end up getting a scallywag through the wall with TD there, which is fine. So we're just going to kill this scallywag here. That's not going to bolster because it's a neutral, obviously. Yellows won't bolster, which is great, or they won't bolster the other mobs. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this pat that is walking. It pats up here across the bridge and then it pats back. I'm going to grab the pat here and I'm going to grab the 2 in the corner and I'm going to pull them down and around. Now again, you don't have to do this. One thing with TD is that things like Torment in a Jar, Twilight Devastation has a real knack of pulling through the walls and the floors above you. So this is a very, very, very safe route and a very safe way to do this, just in regards to bolstering. So as I said, I pulled the pat and the 2 that were up by the gate, and I've just pulled them out around the corner to try and minimize pulling anything else. The strikers will do a rock throw. You know, it does hurt. The big thing though is the Iron Tide Thug will do a disruptive shout. You just need to make sure that you interrupt that, otherwise it'll lower the damage in that everybody that is in rage that gets affected by that. It will lower the damage that everyone's pumping out, and that's obviously not what you want to do because you want to be killing things quickly. So once we've killed those guys, I am going to come back up and we're going to grab this group 16 around the corner here. Again, normally I would be skipping these and making % up in other areas, and I'll talk about that. I'm just going to pull these this group 16 here around the corner, so the double arse and a striker. We're just going to fight them on the bridge. There's nothing really special about these guys. We're just going to kill them. And once they're dead, we're going to go and activate the second obelisk, which is the blob, which is in the corner over here. So moving over to the corner here. Oh no, we're not. We're grabbing these looters. Sorry. let me just go back to the start here so I can frame up what we're doing. So we pulled the Pat and the 2 in the corner. We're then pulling this pack, and then we're going to pull the looters up in the next corner. So that's it for this area, and then we're going into the Obelisk. Sorry, so we cleared out nearly all of this area. With the looters, when you pull them, they will actually port to wherever. So if you pull one and you run around the corner, they'll actually kind of port to your location with this little shadow strike thing they do. So you can position them sort of in different ways or in different locations if you need to with that. Otherwise, again, the looters, there's nothing really special about them that's going to cause you much grief. They will run away at low health as well, so just be aware of that again in regards to setting up slows and stuns for that, especially if you're killing them and skipping other packs or anything like that and you don't want them to go into that. This one gets a 7 stack of bolster, so I'm just moving away and kiting it rather than getting slapped by it. Again, remember, being smart is generally better than being alive than being dumb and being dead. So then we're going to move over into the corner here and take this Obelisk here. Now, the Blob Obelisk, again, as I said with the tank, generally try and get it out of the way for your group so the purple shit isn't covering everywhere and then your group can't actually get anywhere with the Blob. Now, what we can do here is, I can't pan this down so you can see, there's a gate up here, right? You can open this gate. As the tank, take the Blob over to this part over the bridge. And then your group can kill the tentacles over here, and then they can run through the gate here that's unlocked and just meet you there without having to run over the purple shit that you've been dropping. So what we're going to do, because we're actually going to kill the pack around the stairs as well, which generally you would use the Blob to skip. So I'm just going to bring the Blob up here and I'm just going to sort of kite this around with all the purple shit so it's not in the way. My group's going to come and kill it here because we're not taking it anywhere. However, if we were taking it up the stairs, as I said, they just would have ran through that gate. I would have met them here and we would have pedaled up around the corner. But on this route, this is just the way we're doing this. So there's the gate that they would have ran through, meet me here, and then we would have dragged this all the way up into the next area. However, we're going to kill this pack on the stairs. So we're just going to kill it here and then we're going to come out. Worth mentioning as well, guys, with the awakened mobs, they all interact with the fixes for the week, so they bolster, they stack necrotic, they drop sanguine, they enrage, so always just think about that. But with the Blob as the tank, always think about where you're kiting the purple shit on the ground from the Blob, so your group doesn't have to run through it or cut them off. So coming around the corner, we're going to grab this pack here. Again, big things with the C speakers, make sure you're interrupting the Salt Blast. They'll also do a water shield that you want to try and interrupt, or the water dome, sorry. We're going to grab this Arsonist up the top as well, so just getting that in and making it a 4-pack. The big priority mobs here are the C speakers. You want to make sure the watery domes aren't going off because it's obviously going to slow the pull down a hell of a lot. And if they're bolstered or enraged, those C blasts will really hurt as well. So any other kicks or stuns needs to be going into them to stop them. So we're just going to finish them up and then we're moving up around the corner here. Now going up into the corner, just going to grab these yellow mobs. See my TD procs here? It goes off. Actually, wait, maybe I get another one in a second. I pulled Jez with one, so here's a striker. Here goes my TD through the wall, pulls Jess there, which it's not MDI, so we definitely don't want to do that on this key. So we're going to move out around the corner, reset Jez, so it's not the end of the world. Don't stress about it. If that happens, just run out. Then we're going to go up into this top pack here, the C speaker and the Arsonist. Again, the C blast or salt blast, sorry, are your priority for interrupts, and your water domes. Your water domes, or your watery domes, you really do need to make them the priority. If you've got something like AMS or a way to survive the C blasts, if they're or the salt blasts, I keep calling them C blasts, absolutely do so because the watery domes are going to slow you down. However, if you've got something like a mass dispel or a purge or something like that, the watery domes can go off and you can just purge them if you wanted to interrupt the salt blast as your #1 priority if your tank's having a really rough time at surviving. So then we're going to go up into the corner and we're going to grab these 2 Arsonists and we're going to grab 2 out of the cage as well. So I think we actually grab the 2 Raiders out of the cage first because they've got low HP. We burst them down and then we grab these Arsonists here. And the neutrals, and then we're going to grab this pack over in the corner and we're going to line of sight. So we're clearing out basically, I think this is called the brig. We're clearing out the entirety of the brig pretty much on this route. Again, these routes, guys, are designed just to show you options that you can do, and you know, there will certainly be differences that you will see other groups doing and things like that. Don't feel like you can't change this stuff. It's just to give you a rough idea of something that you can do. So we're pulling these, we pulled them around the corner, it clumps them up nice and easy. We don't have to worry about them running away. We don't have to worry about anything going wrong or anything like that. So bring them around, we're killing the Arsonists, and then we're going into this next pack. Now this next pack is fairly deadly. The Warden is the big one. The Warden will do a thing called Lockdown. It's a giant swirl that goes around him. I'm hoping he's going to do it in a second so I can show you. Here it comes down. Lockdown, you can see this swirl around him. You don't want to stand in that. If you stand in that, you will pretty much get one shot. Now, your Sea Speakers are still doing their Salt Blasts in the watery dome, so you still need to make sure you're watching out for them. The Arsonists will do a throw torch, I think it's called, or something like that. That does quite a bit of damage, so you just need to watch out for that. There was an Arsonist up here as well near Jez that we managed to drag in, which we want to drag in, so just make sure you're aware of that one, as you don't want to leave one out or have to fight a single mob. If you're fighting single mobs in Mythic Plus, it's generally a waste of time and you'll be losing time on your key from that, so make sure you grab that solo Arsonist just near Jez when you do this pack. So we're going to kill them, finish them up, and then we're into Jez. Now, Jez, just make sure you've got your interrupts sorted. If you're in a pug, obviously things get a little bit dicey on this if you're not in voice and no one's calling interrupts. So generally, you could just allocate 2 people to kick the fears and then have 2 people allocated for the Bobby stun when you get over to the other side. Flashing daggers goes off. You just need to line of sight this so you guys know the dungeon mechanics already, because otherwise you wouldn't be to a +10. What I'm going to do and what you can do is, if your group has enough damage, after the first flashing daggers, if it's on a fortified key or a low tyrant key, you can drag Jez over to the first cage here. What this does is when the smoke bomb drops at I think it's 70%, is it? 70%, you're right in this location, so you can get instant uptime by the time Jez opens the gate. You're out of your stun and you can get straight back onto Jez for more damage. So it's just a nice little way to do that. Just watch the raiders that are coming out from the cages. Just make sure you as the tank are picking them up, and generally we hero at the top corner here. However, for maximum pad reasons, I think we waited till we got to the end to hero of Jez's run. Generally, we probably would have heroed on a trash pack too. I think we forgot. So we're going to interrupt the motivating cry here. Going to drag Jez into this little alcove here. Reason being is that you can run around the side to line of sight the flashing daggers, but also Bobby will do a fear as well. What you can do here by running around into this part here, so if you tank Jez in here, you run around to this wall. When Bobby pisses off down the hall, you've got this little sort of, I don't even know what this is called, this structurally jutting out thing serves as a line of sight for Bobby's sphere as well. So you always just line of sight to here, and then you don't have to worry about it. So flashing daggers goes off. We're moving back around here, dragging Jez back into this little bit, making sure you get the kicks for the howling fears. And that's pretty much it, guys. All right, so once Jez goes down, sorry, I had a phone call, so if this is a little bit disjointed, we're gonna grab these 2 mobs here. We're gonna drag them up around the corner into the next 3. Now, the big thing that is a priority here is these officers' handcuffs. Now, the handcuffs will absolutely screw anyone out of doing anything. So you can see here, Andrew actually got handcuffed and couldn't cast any heals because he was affected by a handcuff. So you need to make sure that you're kicking them. The officer will be doing the debilitating, or sorry, the thug will be doing the debilitating shout again. Make sure you're kicking them. The officer and I think the jailer as well will cast a riot shield. You just need to make sure if riot shield goes off that you either grip it off, paralysis it off, stun it off, gouge it off, blind it off, whatever. Just make sure that you interrupt or cancel the riot shield. They'll be taking minimized damage while that's going on, and on bolstering, obviously you're trying to kill everything evenly, or you just don't want to lose any time. So just be aware of them. Once they're dead, we're going to move up around the corner. Sorry, we pulled an extra Marine here somehow through the wall. Again, this is what TD is famous for. So we pulled a Marine through the wall, which ended up getting bolstered quite a lot and took us a while to kill. Again, that's just the way Tol Dagor works. So moving up around the corner here, we're going to grab this officer here and this Marine, trying to drag them over to this side part here. Reason being is the mobs through this wall over here in the other room can easily pull from things like Torment in a Jar, and Twilight Devastation. Again, they can even just pull through anything because it's Tol Dagor. There's the Officer's Riot Shield, had nothing for that, so Vino ended up pistol shotting it. Whatever you can do, just make sure you're stunning it and getting it off that cast. I'm not sure if we end up getting anything from the other wall. We'll wait and see. But the plan was to just kill these two and then move through. So we'll have a look. We get them down. No, we didn't. So we kill them, and then we're moving up to this next obelisk here. So this is the third obelisk. Now, this is where this pathing, this is a very safe and kind of easy route to take, but it will only work up to a certain level of key, as it is far slower in some aspects. What we're going to do is we are going to with the Fearad, with Samrek Beckoner of Chaos or whatever he's called, make sure that you delete these Flesh Fiends ASAP. They will put a stacking debuff on you that does hurt anywhere from 4 to 6 up. They will also be affected by bolstering Raging Necrotic as well, so kill them ASAP. And then what we're going to do is we are going to run the Beckoner all the way to the second cannon. Now, on other fixes, or if you are not even on other fixes, every time you come in here, it is far quicker to kill the mobs with the cannons out here. The cannons will absolutely delete the mobs, and no one is going to do the same damage as a cannon does. However, if you're in a group with poor comms, a poor group makeup in regards to slows and stuns, or if you just it's a pug and you have no communication, this is a very safe way to do it, as you only have to do sort of one cannon pull in regards to where you need slows, vortexes, mass grips, rings, or whatever you're doing in that regard. So this is an option, but otherwise I would be taking pulls out, say in that brig area. I wouldn't have done the looters and the group 16 that I spoke about. I would have killed everything with the cannons out here, because it's just a shitload quicker. So what you want to do is you have a rogue in your group, and again, if you don't have a rogue in your group, it obviously gets complicated as well, because the rogue can just use tricks of the trade on you here. What would then happen if I had paid attention and had mass grip is I would have ran in, mass gripped them together. We would have put a vortex down as well, and then your rogue would just delete them pretty much with the cannon fire. Now, it was a little bit unfortunate because I didn't have mass grip up when I was supposed to, because I used it on the Fearad just to get the Flesh Fiends in really quickly and kill them. However, if you've got a Vortex, a Ring of Peace, anything like that, just get your cannon to delete them all. But it kind of ended up being a little bit messy. But if you've got Vortex, Mass Grip, Slows, you can see the cannon just absolutely deletes them when they're in place. And Vino did like 1.19 million damage in the space of a couple of shots. So definitely, if you've got the coordination, killing the mobs out in this area with the cannons is far quicker. So then we're moving into the third boss. We've left the last obelisk up because we're going to use that and take that all the way to the last boss. As you can see now, we're at 100% of enemy count. With this last boss, the barrel boss, pretty much tank and healer can be devoted to moving barrels. Your DPS, you don't want your DPS doing it as such, because you just want them to be dropping the boss ASAP. Tank DPS, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's certainly decent, but you want to be making sure that you're moving the barrels safety. If your healer can't do it all, as the tank, make sure you give them a hand. So pick up the barrels, just move them to move them to a centralized corner. What you want to do is you want to watch where she is cinder flaming. So you can see here cinder flames going off, and it's going to hit these two barrels here. So I'm going to move this barrel, and I'm just going to run it over to this corner where the other one is stacked. You could let this one go off, as its range is kind of going to take up this, and you're going to have safe spots in this corner and the other corner. So the main thing though is to just watch where the cinder flames are going. So I took that barrel, I'm running it all the way down here. You can see these are going to blow up. These two in the corner are still going to be safe. And then I'm just going to bring this boss back over into sort of into the middle is generally where you want to go. These are going to blow up. So over here and over here is going to be safe. So again, picking up a barrel here, the cinder flame here you can see is going into that corner. So that corner in this radius here is going to blow up. So we can move barrels over into this side, and we've still got half the room that's safe. Again, just coordinating, just making sure that you're moving your barrels. It's actually not a hard boss. It gets really complicated if people just don't pay attention and people don't move barrels. If you're not moving barrels, this can go absolutely pear-shaped really quickly. So again, cinder flames going into blue there, so that barrel's going to blow up. So I'm just going to move this barrel over into X here, so the mid's going to be free. We've got green, we've got purple. It's there's so many safe areas just because you continue to move barrels to the corner. Now ignition's gone off here, so X is going to blow up. So green's safe and blue's safe as well, just navigating the boss over. But pretty much if your healer's on the ball and moving barrels and you're helping as the tank, if a cinder flame's ever going off and another, if there's 2 barrels in the way, your healer can grab one and you can grab another one as the tank. It just makes life easy, and just always be moving the boss to a safe corner so your DPS can just continue murking the boss. So once the boss is down, we're going back to our last Obelisk, and we're going to run the Tank Buster Obelisk all the way up to the last boss. So getting in the Obelisk here, I am going to run through all this shit. I'm going to take 1 hit of the Spirit Breaker, and then I'm just going to run. Now again, with the Tank Buster one, Spirit Breaker, if you know, sometimes you can stand there and just face tank it while you've got the debuff. However, majority of the time, just running away while you've got that debuff is advisable and safe versus dying in this realm. If you've got a hunter, you can always get them to pet taunt the Spirit Breaker debuff as well, so you don't have to worry about it. Then you can just take it back after the debuff's gone off. Same if you've got trees and things like that. They can, if you've got a boomy, they can drop trees when the Spirit Breaker is about to go off. The trees take the debuff, and then you can continue to just tank and kite the boss. So I'm bringing this one all the way up to the top here, and then we're just going to kill the Obelisk up here, and then we're going on to the last boss. Now, lots of different things with this last boss, okay? Generally, tanks get put under the veranda. In this group here, I'm on circle. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It's the exact same shit wherever you're doing it. You just need to make sure that you're not getting hit by the large cannon blast. So I'm in this corner for this one instead of being under the veranda. Visibility-wise, this is way better, but often tanks just get put under the veranda. So explosive blast, just make sure your back's to a corner so you get punted back into here. Cross ignition comes out, you just want to make sure that you are finding the gaps. So you can see these are the gaps. The white bits are the gaps. This is where you always want to be. These dark bits are where the cannon fire, the cross ignition is going to go, and if you are standing in them, you are going to get hit. So when you get the explosive bursts on you, AMS, things like Death's Advance not getting back is really handy as well. I actually get clipped by a cross ignition there and it procs Purgatory, which is really unfortunate. So just be really paying attention to where you're moving with cross ignition. You just need to make sure that the circles aren't overlapping. So explosive bursts here, you don't want to be overlapping your circles, or sorry, your circles hitting someone else. Here again, just making sure that I'm standing in a safe spot here. But all you need to do is play this boss smart. Now, it can go really unfortunate because of overlaps and double ups with explosive bursts. One thing I have heard is body pulling the boss apparently stops double ups sometimes, so that's something you can do. So just proximity aggroing the boss instead of pulling it with an ability can work, but otherwise, this boss on Tyrannical sometimes can be a little bit dicky, but just the biggest thing as the tank is making sure that you're not standing in the cross ignitions. With the Deadeye, if you've got a Demon Hunter, they can blade dance every single one of the Deadeyes. So they will take the stack, they will take the debuff stack. You can see Ice has got it here. But it won't actually kill them because they're able to blade dance everyone. If you don't have that option, you just need to make sure that no one ever takes more than 1 stack of the Deadeye. Otherwise, if they do, it will kill them. So you can see this is on Andrew again. Ice again, blade dances it. He's still alive, refreshes his debuff, but it doesn't kill him. So Demon Hunter's huge advantage on this last boss for that. And otherwise, that's pretty much it, guys. So hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight into Tol Dagor on a possible route that you can take, and you can just make adjustments off that for whatever suits your group the best. As I said, I think this strat would work all the way up to like a 21, 22 realistically. But yeah, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you very much for checking out the video. Like, comment, subscribe, come find me on Twitch, come hang in the Discord, and I'll see you all next time. See you, fam.